good.
All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Now it is Power Hour, and there's some stocks on the move right now. Hold on, let's go to the home page here. Give everybody just a moment to make their way into the room here. Glenn, again, he is out today. He will be back next week. He's adventuring out in Hawaii right now. I haven't gotten any short updates from him, so I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. But I imagine it's going to be fun. All right, now it's a big day. We all know what's happening today. We've got NVIDIA's earnings. Oh, let me. All right, now it's a big day. There we go. Mute this. All right, so give everyone just a moment. I know the alert just hit here. It's 11:30. If you can hear me, if you can see me, please respond in the comment section with the appropriate VV Nation. Hey, Vic, Mark, Matthew, Camp, how are we doing today? Now, the market's up big today. We got the Dow Jones up 125, the NASDAQ. Sorry. NASDAQ Composite 211 right now. Volatility is down 7% with the VIX. And we're coming off a sea of red lights there in the color guard. The primary wave is still down. Let's be honest, if we get any follow through or any optimism from NVIDIA's earnings, that might just be enough to move the primary wave back to an up situation. We look right now, price action of the VectorVest Composite, 70.996. We'd have to get a huge move in the VectorVest Composite to get a primary wave up tomorrow, because tomorrow will be coming off the February 20th, which is 72.18. So, not even the bottom fishing, nothing in the trend really saying, hey, let's go out and buy. Now, if you've been holding on to positions and you're willing, to to risk, going into earnings, because it's not just going to be NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got a whole ecosystem of stocks that help support, AI, semiconductors, things of that nature, some software companies. So if that pulls back, if there's negative sentiment with it, I don't think that's going to be good for the market in general, but we shall see. Also, app getting killed again. Yes. Now, I do want to say this. I always say this in the Power Hour, because I know this is more geared towards newer investors, newer subscribers, especially if you're new to the VectorVest channel. This is your first time watching. Welcome. But we like to go over proprietary indicators. So we're going to jump right into it. Now, I gave you the fair warning of the homepage and the market timing. It's still bearish, right? The only optimism we see in the market, essentially, is going to be NVIDIA's earnings. Hopefully that'll be optimism. We've got some, PCE, some inflation data coming out Friday. That could throw us a curveball. But if we look here, before we get into your stocks, look at the sector name, right? Utility is at the top of the list, right? Anytime this is at the top of the list, it's usually not very positive sentiment in the market, right? Other than utility, we got ETFs, steel, and insurance. So if you are going to, buy stocks at this time, things of that nature, obviously VectorVest doesn't advocate it. But if you are, these are the sectors you probably want to check out first. We're seeing a lot of market rotation, out of, the tech names, into the other, sectors and industries throughout the market. So I'm not surprised to see, a lot of these names coming up here at the top of the list. All right, so let's get to it here. We got the watch list for the Power Hour. So let's go ahead and put in some stocks. Let's see what we got here. Does anyone find it disheartening that the entire market is riding on one company? I've been covering earnings calls for NVIDIA for quite some time. It has been like this for a while. This ain't the first earnings call that the market's waiting on NVIDIA. And it's probably not going to be the last. But I think the relevance of NVIDIA, obviously, yes, it's still a huge company. But I don't think, we're going to get that hoorah moment like we have seen with NVIDIA in the past. All right, SMCI, yes. I know that one jumped up quite a bit today. Looks like the accounting irregularities might just be behind it. Let's see, SOUN. Upward. All right, NBIS. We got ship. Let me put ship in here real quick. Roku. All right, see what we got here. About 10 stocks starting out this morning here. We got CHPT. We got 9. That'll give us 10 to start out with. All right, got some more names coming in here. Broadcom. Yeah, let's do NVIDIA. That's just... Oh. I know you got the ETF here, so do NVDL. Tesla. 10. SMCI, we have Vertiv. Vertiv Holdings. Interesting. You know, I've talked about Vertiv in the past. I haven't really taken a look at it recently, just, you know, with tech in general on the pullback here. We got 2 buy-rated stocks. Most of these stocks are sell ratings. So hopefully, I don't know if these positions you're thinking about buying, but I would be more defensive with these positions in general, right? If we take a look at the RT relative timing, majority of these stocks, actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, about a third of these stocks here only have an RT above 1, right? That's not, or sorry. So that would be favorable. All right, okay, we got a couple more here. IONQ, Hood. All right, these are some good names here. Hood. Let's see here. TWN. And then we're going to stop here in just a moment. BHP. IONQ. Very interesting. And Lunar. Okay, I haven't heard Lunar in the news. We'll see. Hopefully none of the rovers are falling over on the moon, because last time that didn't work out too well. Let's see here. SPY. All right. And that'd be a good ETF to look over the general market. Let's just throw in the Qs, see what the Qs are doing as well. All right, we got a ton of stocks. We're going to stop there with the stocks right now. Now, who watching this is new to the software or not familiar with our proprietary indicators? We got the valuation. That's just what we feel a stock is worth. It is not a price target. Just lets you give you a sense, you know, if you're getting a good deal on a stock, or are investors willing to pay a premium, right? You can see SMCI. Hey, you're still getting a deal. The valuation's at 81 right now, currently trading at 54. And that should put it back above its 200-day moving average. I know that was a concern. But obviously with the news breaking out last night, the financial situation, it looks like they are compliant as of right now. Looks like the trade's coming together, right? Now we've got a couple more buys here, but still sells, dominating for the most part here, especially in the lower half. Now, RV to CI. These proprietary indicators, 0 to 2 scale, right? They're like oscillators, like a DPO, detrended price oscillator, right? 1 is the oscillation point. So above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. The further you get away from that magnitude, the further you get away from 1 speaks to the magnitude of that favor, right? So SMCI, long-term price appreciation, very favorable, right? This is compared to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. So this one looks good. Safety rating, still above 1, right? RT relative timing, definitely has got the momentum there. This looks like the short-term price trend. This is our technical indicator. These are fundamentals. So if you want a breakdown of a stock, hey, is it fundamentally sound? Just look at RVRS, right? RT relative timing gives you a sense, is the stock an uptrend or is it a downtrend, right? And how parabolic is that trend, right? Because if the scale is 0 to 2 and RT's at 2, well, that's a parabolic move, right? And be careful of that. But also to the adverse effect of that, if it's 0 to 2 and if you get closer to 0, yes, there's a lot of magnitude there, but you're at the bottom end of that scale, right? And we do utilize that sometimes when it comes to bottom fishing strategies. Not always use it, but sometimes, looking for low RTs in certain bottom fishing scenarios. If you're not exactly sure what I'm talking about, we do have bottom fishing videos utilizing our market timing signals, right? Now, CI is also a technical indicator. Looks at price growth persistence, right? I almost look at it as like the safety indicator, but for technicals, not so much, the fundamentals. That's what the RS is for. As well, I also call it the Rocky Balboa indicator. So if a stock gets knocked down, how likely is to get back up again, right? Now, CI, obviously with SMCI was knocked down quite a bit here. Went from $120, down into the high 20s with all the news around it. But look, we do have a buy rating on the stock. Now, these are ratings, right? So if there's a buy, that means RT, VST has to be above 1. So it's an uptrend, and overall, it's got to be favorable, right? As long as it's diverging away from our stop price, which is right now $43, the buy rating will be given. Over here, we've got forecasted data. We've got sales growth rate, and growth rate and earnings. You can see very favorable numbers here with the stocks at the top of the list. But as we get down the list, some of these stocks here, negative, right? BHP, negative 8 on the sales, negative 5 on the earnings growth rate. Now, let's go ahead and just jump in the charts here. And for today's example, we're going to use the VectorVest simple layout. All right, here's SMCI. There we go. You can see it broke out of its downward trend. Nice retest here. Series of several lows, but then as soon as it broke out above this high, it's been off to the races, right? I know the 200-day moving average is around $53 right now, so definitely would want to see a close above that. But if there's any follow through from yesterday or yesterday evening's, news that came out, it's going to be based on NVIDIA, right? SMCI is, I'm not going to be surprised if it moves in conjunction. If you see a gap up with NVIDIA over the evening, probably going to see the same thing with SMCI. If you see a gap down with NVIDIA, you'll probably see the same thing with SMCI. So if you want to play options, if you want to play, the earnings strategy, this, obviously probably a little bit cheaper of an option strategy than NVIDIA with its earnings. But with the volatility, I was looking at them, extreme amount of volatility. So if you own SMCI, you're not afraid, maybe cap some of your profits potentially. Doing a covered call, some kind of buy right going into earnings, not a bad idea. Definitely put some insurance on this, right? Because it's all going to come down to NVIDIA's earnings. Now, as far as the EPS, or earnings per share, we do have a steady growth. I see, this jump up here. But other than, this abnormal anomaly, you could say, and I'm not sure exactly what caused that, but you see the earnings per share, steady rise, right? I do like that. If we take a look at our valuation here, I've talked about this before. It's my favorite chart pattern. Valuation on the rise, price action on the rise, right? So I do like SMCI, but just be careful. It's going to be very news driven. Here's NVIDIA. And this is the stock of the hour, right? Let's be honest here. We've got this downward trend line here, right? 3 clear rejections on this downward trend line. If we pull this down, that trend line is going to bring us about to 140, right? I know the options market's looking about 11-point swing on NVIDIA. And from right now, that would actually put us above this trend line if we gapped up, tomorrow morning. That would be the, best case scenario, right? Gapping up above this trend line, maybe a retest on it. I wouldn't be too surprised, depending, what kind of enthusiasm we get out of the earnings call. But other than that, this is still going to be my support zone here. I got, was it 119? I got a little zone here. See, last time I found support in the zone. Now, if we get back into the zone, I would be definitely concerned. And right now, 132, if we do get a gap down in accordance to the options market, that would put us right in the zone here. And that would be the last chance to really, find a level support here. Worst case scenario, because if it breaks this, it can easily get back in the hundreds. But it just really depends on what NVIDIA's earnings is going to, going to reveal, right? I know any kind of earnings beat, probably, unless it's astronomical, especially on the AI server side, the database center side, because that's where the growth is right now. Even if they get an earnings beat, it's not going to really jolt investors like it once was. I know that's a lot of talk on the internet right now. I know a lot of the talk's going to be, about China. It's going to be about, forecast, the data center investments in the United States, how NVIDIA is going to play a role and benefit from that, which they most certainly will, right? I know I saw Apple was at $500 billion, at $500 billion from AI investment, right? Well, they're going to need some NVIDIA chips for that investment. So, the space isn't done yet. You can see the stock, for about the last 9 months, it's been pretty stagnant, but actually looks like it's a little bit lower than it was back in June, not by much. So the stock hasn't really done a whole lot, right? I know we've seen this in Apple in the past. I have a feeling it's just refueling right now for another rally, right? I talked about it in the last night's video. I wouldn't be surprised to see NVIDIA in the 170s, within a few months, maybe a year, if you want to, want a price target on there. But is the damage over yet in this downward trend? That's the question, right? We all got high hopes for NVIDIA in the future, but right now it is in a downward trend right now, so just be careful. All right, so let's go to the next one here. All right, so this is a momentum play. Look at the upper wick, lower wick here, showing indecision. From investors right now, currently trading at 355. I don't like this give up. A lot of selling pressure, the upper wick, close is lower than the open. That's why we got the full body candlestick here. So I'm not, I see the pennant. Here's the pennant, right? Breakout to the upside of that consolidation. And now we're right back into it. As far as any kind of stop, I'd put in maybe today's low, the bottom wick here, if you need a stop, which the low comes in at 322 right now. It's at 356. RT relative timing, this is what I was talking about, RT, right? When RT hits 2, that's that parabolic move, right? So on this stock, that would have actually worked out pretty well because now I know, hey, RT's at 2, 0 to 2 scale. I'm not saying it's got to come down immediately or that day, but your upside potential is now being outweighed by downside risk. And we saw that play out here as well over 450. If we click on the high, 463, right? Now we're at 356. So as of right now, I mean, you could draw a trend line here because this is a momentum play. There's the trend line. It's staying above that trend. So as long as it remains above that trend, hey, be bullish on the position and remember your plan when you first bought the stock, right? Because this stock was, less than $2, around $1.50 back here, and it hit at 450, 460, right? So at some point, you got to take profits off the table. Right now, if you didn't sell at the high, hey, you got this trend line here, and it keeps going up by the day. Capture some profits, right? Palantir, yeah, we'll take a look at Palantir in just a moment, Theo. That's actually a great honorable mention. Here we have Hood, right? We take a look at Hood. Looks like it's found a nice level of support right up of this consolidation here. That's where I would see the support zone here. Nice full-bodied candlestick from yesterday. Looks like we got a bottom wick here. But again, with the market just so, iffy right now, if you're in Hood, actually what I see here might just be a retest, a trend line retest. Yep, there it is. It broke the trend line, wants to retest that trend line. So I'm not too convinced on buying this dip quite yet. If you bought it yesterday, hey, not a bad idea. I'd put a stop in around 43 just in case that a new low gets approached. But I see a retest right here. We tested it from the top. Now we're testing it from the bottom. So just be careful there. See if you see any rejection later in today. But again, NVIDIA is going to move the markets quite a bit. So we'll see. But I do like this, valuation on the rise, even though the stock is, very overvalued. The valuation is now approaching, let's see here, put a date line, $26, right? So it is still, way overvalued. I do realize that. But the value is on the rise. Price action is on the rise. I do like what I see there. We did get a hold rating yesterday. Today, the stock went back to being a buy rating. PPC, no AI in those golden chicken nuggets. What? But yeah, as far as Robinhood, if you're still in it, if you held with, this big drop here, right? I know you're probably not in a rush to sell it now. Just see what it does at this retest, right? If we break above this retest, it stay back, get back above this trend line. Hey, it's good for the bulls, right? But if we get a retest and we start to, retrace from that, I can't tell you what to do. But I would get more defensive in that if that scenario were to play out, right? Hood flirting with going under 1 on RT. Yes, if you saw RT favorable this whole time here, it did dip below that. Let's see here. It got to 0.82 right now. 1.08. So yeah, as far as buying the dip on Robinhood, I'd have to see more confirmation, right? This gave me a little bit of a warning here without RT dip. But, if we look historically speaking, that would have been a pretty good opportunity there. You got to hold, a sell. See what this buy rating does. If we keep this, like I said, if we stay, get back above this trend line here, I would definitely be more optimistic. But I'm seeing that if we go to 1 month here, I'm seeing that upper wick starting to form right at that trend line there. So just be careful. If you're in it, be defensive, stay on top of it, stick to your stops, right? I don't know what kind of stop you had, but this stock was, let's use a date line. 66.91 back on February 13th. Now it's at 49, right? So put some kind of stop in place. Don't let this trade become emotional. Let's go to 1 year. Here we've got SHIP. I mean, I don't like this. The valuation going down, price action going down. I know it's big on shipping a lot, last year, with the Houthis and everything in the Red Sea. And that's just kind of the momentum you're seeing from that, the shipping industry. But since then, no, I can't get behind it right now. 720. The low is in here. I just see some consolidation. Really just need more of a breakout here. Yep, there it is. So let's see if we get a good, nice pivot, a good breakout to the upside, something like that. I like the idea, the shipping. Obviously, I think that's going to be important going forward. But right now, just, the stock and investors just have not picked a direction for the stock. I do like that it is above our stop price. So the sell ratings have gone away. Now we're just back into a hold rating. For me, Hood is up 600% from $10 I bought. Well, what is it happy enough for you? Is 600% enough? Are you a long-term investor? You got to ask yourself that. These are questions. Are you just trading it? Are you investing it? Ryan, do you think that the market S&P 500 has already factored NVIDIA's results, which are expected to beat the analyst as usual by a few cents because of strong Q4 weakness? I think certain pockets of the market have like SMCI, some semiconductors, things of that nature. TSM, I like TSM. Obviously, that's going to NVIDIA is probably their largest customer. If I had to guess, I'd be shocked if NVIDIA was not their largest customer. You are an investor. Okay, yeah. If you're an investor and you're down at $10, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But if you do want to take some profits, because I know you got tax purposes and all kinds of things to factor. But when it comes to Robinhood, you had this nice long uptrend, right? If we break this downtrend, you're literally guessing now we're on the downside of this, you'd be guessing on when it's going to stop. This would be my guess right here if we got any more downside action. The market will tell, but we're getting follow through. So just again, see. No, I'm not up 600% on options. I wish I gave you all the trade. I did not take the trade myself. Just, had to put money elsewhere. I wish I could buy all the stocks and options I wanted to. I was in Hood, had a loss at $10, and I sold it, turned around. Yeah, that's as far as Hood. My biggest concern, it just broke that upward trend line, right? We've had a nice run on it. Even if you're an investor, taking some off the table, you can always put back in. Right now, I wouldn't do that. I'd see what it does at this retest level and just give it a few. Ship, again, break out of the channel. Either way, but we're just not getting a sense of direction. I don't like value on the decline, price action on the decline. It does have rising earnings. I do like that. But just overall, I'd wait on that trade. Let the trade come to you. AT&T, it's about as smooth as it gets, right? Lower left, upper right, buy rating in place, 2 down days in a row. We got 2 red candlesticks here. Not going to be a buyer as of it today, but yes, I actually do like this quite a bit here. I don't like the earnings per share on the decline. Values rising. This is an interesting play here. If this wasn't just a nice smooth chart pattern, lower left, upper right, hey, if you're in it, I'd be more concerned about taking profits right now than, purchasing more, just because I had such a big run here. If we do get any kind of pullback, probably some consolidation here, maybe it'll retest this. We got several candlesticks here, clear break to the upside. But overall, the stock, you're paying for a premium, right? This is AT&T trading at 26. We value the stock at 1834. Again, this is not a price target, just letting you know what we feel the stock is worth. Right now, investors are paying a premium on AT&T. All right, here we've got Ultra Pro. Let's see here. I like it. Yeah, lower left, upper right over the last year. Again, updated day, buy rating starting to come in here. I see the momentum playing here to the upside. RT relative timing now in our favor. We're getting momentum back in the trend here. We see when RT was coming out of below 1 territory before, the stock had a really nice run, and we're starting to see that same shape up here. So yeah, no, I get the logic behind this stock here. NVIDIA is not TSM Bank. Who is it, Mirren? That's what I say. I was just taking a guess. I said I wouldn't be surprised. Who is? Let's Google it. Let's see here. What? I'm curious. Apple. Okay. Wow. That was going to be my second guess. NVIDIA's number 2. That's right. Apple. Okay. That makes more sense. Gotcha. It's their second largest client. So I forgot about Apple. My bad. But like I said, I was taking a guess there. It's their number 2. Trump's first. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm not talking about Trump and his cabinet picks for the market. If anything's going to affect the market, it's going to be those tariffs coming in, from Mexico and Canada. I know those are back on the table. We'll see how that goes, right? All right. So let's go to the next stock. SPY, right? We've got a lot of consolidation here. Big 3 down days. RT still above 1. The trend is still in our favor, though. Nice buying pressure yesterday. I do like that. Oh, let's get rid of this thing. But yeah, as far as the S&P, it still looks good here. I do see the bearish divergence between RT going down and price action going up during that same time period. That would be my biggest concern here. You see that? Bearish divergence, RT. You see price action on the rise, RT on the decline, right? So that would be my biggest concern when it comes to the SPY. Ryan, does a price consolidation, as we've seen in SP 500, indicate a breakout to the upside with more probability than to the downside? Please, your thoughts based on experience. It's like refueling, right? The stocks, indexes, they can't just go up, up, and up. You see S&P here, nice long run, but really since, if we use a date line, since November, we see the sideways action, right, in the market. Since then, RT on the decline. But yeah, as far as the SB, as far as the market in general, the biggest concern right now is going to be inflation and how, these tariffs, if they come to fruition, is going to affect inflation. We saw the inflation expectation report take a huge jump. What PCE is Friday. That's what it's about. As far, NVIDIA, it's going to create some noise in the short term, but the real trend of the market is going to be inflation, right? Because inflation's high. If inflation's sticky, we're not getting interest rate cuts, right? And if it does go higher, you got to watch my video, but if it breaks out of that channel I talk about in my video, I think it's around 3.7. Well, I don't think the Federal Reserve is going to want to be late to this party like they were the last time, right? So I don't see interest rate cuts. I do see potential for a hike, but it all depends on inflation. Right now we're seeing inflation tick up. What's been the longest period with a confirmed down? That is a good question. But in my book, this isn't really VectorVest book, but in my book, if I see confirmed down more than 2 to 3 weeks, I am concerned because I know that it's not just, some market volatility and we end up getting confirmed down, short-lived kind of thing. And we are in that situation right now. But let's look at the confirmed calls. We've been in a confirmed down since December 10th, right? And since December 10th, the market is down, or at least this is the SPY here. But you can see, look at these little short terms. That's what I'm talking about. These little short terms here. That just gives you a sense of, market volatility. Here's the pullback. Boom. Boom. Pretty short-lived, right? I think this is the longest one here. But this one's really long. So that's why I say be a little bit more concerned right now. That confirmed call. Are we close to a recession? Well, what was it, 2 summers ago? Technically, we had a recession on GDP, which is the definition, but the employment was very low. So that they've changed the terms of a recession, but typically it's GDP lower. But yeah, I don't see a recession right now. The only thing I would see would cause a recession is unemployment to tick up, right? And we'll see how that works out. But at the same time, we can almost use a recession, right? Everything's so expensive right now. I know that doesn't sound good and no one likes to hear it. But everything's so expensive right now. We got to reset every once in a while, and it feels like the market and the government are afraid to do so. We can't just. I don't know. I think we need one more than we're gonna get one. If that answers your question, and I know that's probably not the answer you wanted to hear. All right, here we got the Qs, right? Look, same thing. Look, confirmed down, volatility, right? I know we got the high just like we did with the S&P. Same scenario, bearish divergence. That's a pretty long bearish divergence. Well, right there, yeah. Still long bearish divergence here. You got my support levels here on the Qs. We're right at that level of support here. I've had these on here for a while. But this low, if we look, let's go to 3 months. Low, or is lower than this low. As far as the high, we'll have to see. But, if we get a lower low, lower high, that would not be good. There's a lot of government layoffs and other big companies as well. Yes, I do see that. But, I'm not going to get into that stuff. But I think we need to get back into a real economy scenario, right? I look at these job reports. I see it's mostly government and healthcare. That is a sign of a weak economy. Think about it. We put all this money in the economy. I don't like getting down this rabbit hole. But, I think if we see more private sector jobs, that would give me a better feeling about how, the real strength of our economy, right? I got in at 320 with Tesla. Will it bounce back? What is a bearish divergence and what are its consequences? Edward, great question. So bearish divergence is when you compare an entity, like an equity, ETF, in this case, ETF on the Qs, right? Yeah. I don't know how to get rid of this line. All right. So let's go back, make this more visually appealing. So you got the technical indicator down below, right? Going down, bearish, right? Going down. However, during that same time period, you've got price action on the rise, right? That means they're diverging away from each other. A lot of people, obviously RT is a proprietary indicator, but a lot of people use this with things like RSI, right? And it's saying that essentially because price action is up and the technical is going down, no one's got a crystal ball, but more often than not, there's like to be a retracement from the equity, in this case it's the Qs, to match that, to get back in line with the technicals, right? So if we get any more downward action and price action here, you can see if I just move this line here, really, especially below here, you got several touches on this line, but we get below this, right? That could come to fruition. It's a warning sign. Amir, yeah, we go get to NVIDIA. We just talked about NVIDIA, but we're going to talk about it some more here. And we got NVIDIA earnings call at 4:45 today. We are going to talk about an AMA. And I don't know if you saw or not, just a heads up, other than the earnings call, something you need to watch out for, 7 p.m., CEO Wong is going to be on CNBC, right? And I think that commentary, in my opinion, is going to be just as important as some of the things that we hear in the earnings. And a lot of it's going to be the same. But that commentary, everyone's going to be watching it. I think, and probably more people will be watching the CNBC interview than the earnings call, if I had to guess. But we shall see. We'll get back to NVIDIA in just a moment. Here's Nibius Group. This one is related to NVIDIA. We see the run up going into earnings here. Again, that's why I say NVIDIA's got a whole ecosystem. I'm going to talk about this more on AMA. But there's a lot of stocks that ride along with the coattails of NVIDIA. This one here is NVIDIA's, it's in their portfolio. Jensen is going to CNBC to talk up the stock. Yeah. Hopefully he's not going to talk it down. Ryan already spoke to NVIDIA. We're going to touch base on NVIDIA one last time before we head out of here, because I know that's the main thing today. NVIDIA, we already talked about SMCI. Watch the 200-day moving average. And let's be honest, if NVIDIA gaps up tomorrow, I'm going to say SMCI will probably gap up too. But just to the adverse effect, gap downs. If you're holding SMCI, depending if you want to put caps on your profits, but I was looking at the options. Those premiums, whoo, through the roof right now. So if you own 100 shares of SMCI, and take a look at selling a call against it. Look at the strike price. I'd put the strike price kind of where your target might be. So that way, if it does hit your target, hey, the stock gets called away with you no matter what, right? But if it doesn't, these premiums are going to disintegrate if it doesn't do what we want it to do come tomorrow because of the implied volatility from NVIDIA's earnings. You'll collect some premiums real quick if that doesn't move the way you know, a lot of the option traders are wanting it. I know he did, but I'd like to hear some detail. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get back to that one in just a moment. But this is going to move, you know, it's going to move in line with NVIDIA. But just know, look, value at 1196. Valuation, actually, this is the first time, no, second time back here. Valuation took a drop here. It is a trader. This is a trader stock. Investors are buying a premium on it right now. I wouldn't get too excited about, you know, jumping in here as an investment. But there's a trend line. So if you want to help capture momentum, it's going to be about $30 right now. So we're trading at 37. Our stop is kind of in the midway point of that. So just use something that you are comfortable with if you're utilizing this position here. But as far as earnings, look, it dropped. Price action is on the rise. And we all know why it's rising right now, because NVIDIA can be tied to the stock. All right. Here's VRT. Look at, if I extend it, we got another touch on this line. It is overvalued. This was such a hot stock. 1 year. There's the big run. A lot of momentum to the downside, right? We got a gap up today. We're giving away some of those gains. You know, we're currently trading lower than the open right now. RT below 1. Looks like RT found a lower low as well. I'd be more defensive. I'm not and honestly, if I use a horizontal line here, oh wait, nope, not freehand. Because I got a lot of touches from the bottom here, from the top up here. You know, if it was to go up, I put my first price target around 109. It gives you about 10% to the upside right now. Otherwise, get back in this channel. Maybe lose a sell rating here. I wouldn't be in a rush to buy it right now. I see the optimism here. But with the momentum to the downside, you know, if you want a little bit of a nibble just because it's, you know, getting close to its valuation, hey, I get it. But I want to buy this right before NVIDIA's earnings. You know, especially with such a, you know, so much magnitude to the downside here with the trend. So just be careful of this one as well. But we've talked about this company before. I know what it's got as far as, you know, what's in the pipeline, what it does. You know, it's in tech, AI, semiconductor, that kind of thing. So that's why I said it's going to play with NVIDIA. So if you want to take that risk and you think NVIDIA is going to gap up this, you know, this evening until tomorrow morning, hey, this could be another stock here you could look at. Otherwise, if you don't want to play that risk, wait to see what happens, because this is my resistance right here. This is really kind of a zone, but I see the beginning of the resistance around 109. We're about 10% away from that, okay? So if you did buy this dip yesterday, not mad at it at all. Don't get too greedy. See what it does. See if we get a rejection up there, or really any follow through from NVIDIA's earnings. All right, Taiwan Fund. Interesting. I don't like this at all. Let's get rid of value. This is ETF. Look at this big gap down. I imagine that was that DeepSeek. I don't like this. A lot of consolidation as of late. If you're thinking about getting it because it's on the dip, there's a consolidation here. Let's wait for the breakout, because if we break out to the upside, we got a big gap to fill, and I can see why you might, you know, why you getting excited about this position, because that gap to fill is up around $46. So that gives us a pretty big run there. But right now the market, and this is Taiwan, so unless you're following their market, our VVC or VectorVest composite's not going to help you, you know, too much here. This is, you know, tracking a different market. But yeah, Ryan will be working overtime. Yeah, well, I won't be covering the one at 7 at CNBC, but we'll do like 4:45. You know, check it out. There's some other big company. I think Salesforce. So, you know, I'll throw, you know, all the earnings stocks, you know, talk to you guys as well. Take a look, take a listen, see, you know, hopefully he's got some good news for us, because whether you're holding NVIDIA or not, let's be honest, whatever he says is going to affect everyone's portfolios, right? Because even if you're not holding NVIDIA, you might be holding other semiconductors or AI, you know, even some of the Mag 7 stocks probably, you know, could potentially move along with it as well. All right, so here's NVDL, right? This is 2 times leverage. We got the sell recommendation. Just like on the other chart, we're getting clear rejection at this level here. As far as the chart, I like to look at just regular NVIDIA's chart. But this here, are we starting a downward channel? Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not good. I just saw that for the first time. Here's the breakout. Boom. You know, we got our nice little run. Failed to make a new high. And then since then, look at that. I mean, that's a clear channel to the downside. NVIDIA. You think Sound will be earnings tomorrow? Ooh, David, it's got earnings tomorrow? I think... Does NVIDIA still own Sound, or did they sell their position? Because I still think NVIDIA is going to... we'll take a look at Sound. But at least as far as NVDL, I know this isn't NVIDIA. We looked at NVIDIA before. We'll go back to it. But as far as NVDL, I see a descending channel, right? So just that's probably not good for the stock either. So we'll take a look at the stock. But we do see, we got double touches here. Nice support. Big follow through today. You know, again, it all depends on earnings. You know, is NVIDIA going to beat earnings and revenue? Yeah, most likely. If they don't, this would be a bigger problem, right? But if they do, I don't think it's going to get investors enthused. We've always hearing these earnings beat. I think investors really, you know, they want to know about the China, the DeepSeek, you know, competition, supply chain, you know, some of these, you know, domestic, you know, AI investment programs, how NVIDIA is going to benefit from those. So I think that's what we should focus on here. BHP Group, this is very gappy. It's a mining company. I don't like it. Very gappy indeed. I mean, even if you put a stop on here, it's just so gappy, probably low volume. Earnings is dropping. RT, you know, struggling. It struggled. It didn't do it. You know, 2 days there above 1 on the retracement. I'm not here for it. I don't know what they're mining, but a lot of these other mining companies are hot right now. You know, we got, you know, critical minerals, gold, right? So yeah, you know, if your mining company's not going up right now, like this one, it's going down. There's other mining companies out there. You know, just right click on this stock when you're in the software, you know, view up the sector, stocks in the sector, stocks in the industry. And I think there'll be better choices, right? That's what I will say about that. I think there are better choices right now than this position. All right, we got Roku. It filled the gap. See what it does. See what it does right here. Let me do a horizontal line. I don't see the buying pressure after filling the gap. I don't see any buying pressure at all, really. I see more of it looks like a doji candlestick. If it gapped up like that, you know, by the third candlestick, like this one here, you know, that was not a good gap up candlestick, not a good one. You know, especially this wick here. That's kind of where I would have taken profits, you know, if I didn't, you know, cash out up here. Yeah, right now I'm not a buyer of it. I'd have to see, you know, some buying pressure, especially this is pretty cool, pretty critical zone to look for support here. Earnings per share is on the rise, still negative. Let's see what the value is here. Value is at 19. It's pretty flat. It's starting to increase a little bit here. But yeah, I'm just not here for it now. If you did get into this stock, you know, I'd definitely protect some profits or mitigate risk depending on where you bought it at. But I'm not going to be bullish on this position, especially with the market the way it is. All right, so here's a Lunar. Ooh, look at that. We've talked about this. This thing keeps playing this. Now you're at the bottom of it, right? Now, do I think it's going to keep, you know, go up to 25, 30? Who knows where that line's going to go? Probably not, but I do like this bounce right here with some follow through. You know, nice. I'd say we're probably was resistance yesterday. Now we're probably right in a support zone. Somewhere, yeah, I said probably right in that zone. If you're not, you know, maybe look for a little bit of follow through, or if, you know, $17, you know, maybe put a stop in it at like $15.50 or something like that. Because if it breaks below this, you know, starts approaching this, I don't think it's going to test it too many times before it breaks it down below. But the whole reason why the stock moved in the first place, some of their equipment, you know, is going to, well, went to the moon. So keep your eye on the news here, because that's really what's going to move this stock. You know, it is hype. Yes, it is a hype stock. But, you know, I talked about Lunar for a while. I mean, this is when these lines are back here. You know, it's been a while since I talked about it, but look, you know, the pattern is still going right now. But the valuation's not. This is a hype play. This is a momentum trade. Are you talking at 11 today? You mean 2? Which, if you're in California, would be 11 your time. Yeah, so 2 p.m. Eastern for AMA. Tesla, I've said it before. I will keep saying it. Until the robots and all this other technology comes out, it's way overvalued as a car company. Like, look at the valuation here. Boom. Look at price action. Boom. And not only that, but now he got politically involved, and we'll see how that plays out for him. But until some of these other items come to fruition, the robots, the robo-taxis. But something you have to keep in mind, Elon was supposed to have this stuff years ago. Now you're looking at, Google and, some of these other companies, Serve Robotics, robots and autonomous driving ain't going to be, that innovative like it would have been, 5 years ago, right? A lot of other companies are catching up to it. Is the damage done? I don't think so. Maybe somewhere in here. I wouldn't be surprised if it wanted to retest this. I really wouldn't. You're looking around 285, 266. Sell ratings in place. I know, like, especially if you are a, what do you call that? Not a fan, not a groupie. Groupie's not the right word. And I know Tesla can be cult-like, as far as its investors. Don't let the emotion. I mean, it's in a clear downtrend, and it has been for a while. And again, the valuation, in my mind, we value at $34. Even with some of this innovation and things like that, I'll give it the benefit of maybe $100, $120 for my personal valuation. But up here, no. And I'm not seeing these things come to fruition. And if they come to fruition too late, like I said, the competition. Right? Before there wasn't much competition in robots and autonomous driving when Elon was talking about this stuff. Tesla has gaps. Be careful. Yeah. So in general, not going to say Tesla is hot or anything like right now. If you want to look for a balance, you look for some bottom fishing, opportunities on Tesla. This is it right here. 285, 266. See what the candlesticks look like. See if buyers come in. Tesla RT could stay under 1 for a long time. Yeah, I might just do that. But that's what I'm saying. Don't give up all your profit. I mean, this stock was $500. Now it's down almost 50%. 301. Don't. It's like AMD. I talked about AMD went up to like 220 or something. Now it's back at 100. I've been telling you the descending channel forever, and AMD is finally about to hit the $100 mark. I've been telling you about to look out for. When AMD brings an opportunity, I'll let you know, and I think one should be coming soon. All right, there's Tesla. I know you don't like it. Ethereum. This is my crypto spiel for the day. I'm not even talking about the stock. What I'm seeing is the reserves are not happening, right? Because the market cap of crypto has gotten so big. Think about NVIDIA, right? It's got to have a lot of new money to really push it up higher, especially the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the big market cap ones. I'm not seeing, once we get news about the reserves, or, if it happens, or, Mag 7, big company, not MicroStrategy. I don't care about MicroStrategy. Put this on their balance sheet as assets. Yes. And I don't blame states or companies not wanting to start out putting stuff on their balance sheets at $100,000 a coin. Amir, Kathy Wood's target is $1,500 on Tesla. That's her target, Amir. And how much time did she give you? Is that a 12-month target? Because that's a 12-month target. Hey, now. But, if he gets robots and we see 1 million Tesla robots, out doing chores, in the next 6 months, yeah, I could easily see that price target. Because, that's a multi-trillion-dollar bit. That is a game changer to not robotics, but to the labor force, and we'll play out. But as far as crypto, if we don't get the reserves, we're approaching a crypto winter, right? I don't think, I'm not going to be bullish on crypto right now. I'm not going to be bullish right now. And it doesn't matter about my opinion on crypto. It matters if the world wants to adopt it, right? Right now, we're seeing hesitation with that. Well, it is what it is. There's always hesitation with Bitcoin, right? But I think it was smart that a lot of these companies and states decided not to start their Bitcoin reserve at $100,000. Can you imagine a Tesla Glenn robot that doesn't take vacation trending Thursdays? Just saying, hi, Glenn. You are in the chat watching. I don't know if I want another Glenn to deal with. Choo-choo. Glenn, I hope he's having fun out there in Hawaii. I'm kind of jealous. All right, here's Holo. No. Valuation, no. Nope. Semiconductor. Let's see what the split looks like. No splits. It's just gap down. So the stock was way overvalued. I do like our valuation for IPOs. Because especially a lot of IPOs come out, very hyped up. You see this one as well. Boom. Valuation price on decline. Let's see 3 months here. Look at that. When it was undervalued, we shot up $8. I think we talked about that. That's where I know this company from. Earnings per share. Look, is that negative $40 on the EPS? What? Valuation 210. I could see it as a value play. What's the prior low? Let's go. Is this a value play? The prior low, 106. It's 112 right now. If you want to take this, I'd put a stop at $1, maybe even 106. Tighten it up, because if you get another low, I mean, this thing just be hitting new lows, right? Hitting new lows, hitting new lows, hitting new lows. So just be careful, right? If you're going to get into it, I get it. Hey, it's undervalued. It's semiconductor. It's $1. A lot of these semiconductors, I'd be more of an investor. Trader, not so much. It's $100. I don't know if it trades options or not, but if it does, buy 100 of them. That's $100, $113 right now. Sell a call against it. Worst case scenario, if it goes down, you lowered your dollar cost average, right? I'd have to do some research here, but a semiconductor undervalued, only $1. It's probably got a pretty low market cap. Hasn't been around that long. Do some research on this. This might be a good company as far as an investing opportunity. Am I going to pull the trigger today? I'm in no rush to pull the trigger on this stock, but it does look attractive. Big Bear AI. We'll see what happens. Here's an AI play. Again, this is going to move based on NVIDIA. You see the valuation here? 37 cents. This is a momentum hype play, right? And I'm just not, we got clear levels of support right here. And there's the gap. That's my support. Somewhere in there, 450, 512. That's when I would start getting defensive, Or if it started approaching this level. That's when I would start getting defensive. Especially if you bought the dip here. Now, if you rode this thing all the way up from $2 and didn't sell at 10, I don't think whatever I say is going to convince you to sell this thing, right? No, you're going to do what you want to do anyways. All right, Island Q. There's my levels. It's touched it once. We're approaching there again, right? So as long as it stays above this 28.12, I will be optimistic. As well, we got a downward trend here. And we could be breaking that soon. So just give you a heads up there. All right, we went over a bunch of stocks. What time is it? 12:20. Oh, yeah. Joey's going to kill me. We went over. ChatGPT. CHPT. I don't know why I thought ChatGPT. It's clearly downtrending. Just hit a new low yesterday. I mean, you are catching a falling knife. You are guessing when it's going to go down. There's no levels to really come off of. Let's see here. Nope. It's at an all-time low. I'm going to put it in the hollow category, except until it becomes undervalued, I'm not going to pay much attention to it. If you're going to short it, if it has options, bearish options, that makes sense, right? But you see the trend line here, pretty clear trend line if you drew one. If it breaks above it, hey, get a little bit more optimistic. But right now, 66 cents. Clearly, investors not that enthused about paying a premium. They're still paying a premium. You know that because you got the software. 36 cents. We're not that far away. I'm actually about 50%. What's this prior one here? I'll give it a little bit of benefit of the doubt if you want to do some. 46 cents. There we go. That doesn't seem impossible with the downward projection of the stock. Or, like I said, have some patience and see what it does, if it breaks that downward trend line. Here's sound. You see my levels here. I've had this for a while. Trying to find this level of support. We got follow through today. I mean, it's got earnings tomorrow. Look at this earning. Ooh, that's not good. That forecasted earnings dropped quite a bit. Negative 22 cents. Look like it's approaching negative 26 cents. So just want to throw that out there. All right, before we go, I'm going to take one last look at NVIDIA because we looked at NVDL and there's a descending channel, right? That looks like a pretty good descending channel, in my opinion, for NVDA as well, the actual stock. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like I said, the options look at an 11-point swing. If anything's going to save us from a descending channel, it's going to be NVIDIA's earnings, right? Otherwise, there's a lot of downside potential here. And here's my cutoff around 117. All right, so we're going to head out. We went over a lot of stocks today. Pretty good detail. And we found out that NVIDIA is in a descending channel. How many of you guys knew that NVIDIA is now looking like it's in a descending channel? Have you guys noticed that? Because now we've got several touches on both ends, so now it's a pretty clear channel. If you haven't noticed it, that's probably the biggest thing I got out of this webcast, and hopefully that's the biggest thing you got out, right? So I'm not going to place a bet on NVIDIA right before earning, And honestly, I like to play options, and I've already looked at NVIDIA's options. The premiums are out of this world. So if you're not going to, if you already own NVIDIA and you own 100 shares at least, take some advantage. Look at this. Even if it's 11-point swing, the channel's here, it probably might do what it did before. See what that 150 does. Maybe see what the premium 150, sell 150 against it, because even if it jumps up, it might sell back into the channel, or if it gaps down, who knows, then you'll just collect all that premium pretty much tomorrow. But it's definitely the options are trading at a premium, right? They're very expensive. I looked at SMCI as well. So just be careful of that. Everybody, see you in, it's actually not that far away, about an hour and a half. I'm about to go to the training center, meet up with Joey, and get the AMA situated. So I will see you here shortly, guys. Take care.